Hello and welcome to this video where we're going to copy item bank items from one item bank to another. So generally the way this is going to go is we are going to copy items from the NWEA banks that we purchased, which would be this one, CERTA FAIB NWEA. So I'm going to start there. We're going to be copying items from this bank, which has close to 100,000 items, and then we're going to copy them into one of our banks that we can then use and edit and change. Because as long as they're in this bank, you can't mess with them because they're locked. So we need to copy them over to another bank. So the first thing you can do is you can search. You can click the Show Question Finder. So if there were a particular item that your team had identified, let's say they gave you the question title in the document, you can actually just type the number of that item into this line. That's probably not a real item number. And notice it's processing, and it's not going to find it because there's nothing there to find. Anyway, you can look for items that way, if that helps. What we're going to do is look at, actually these are Spanish items. The items marked with SP in the front are Spanish items. So that can help you find things if you want to create a Spanish test to mirror the English test. You can always look for items that way. It has language, Spanish. We're just going to use this one just because it'll be quicker. We're going to select this item. I don't even know what it's about. And we are going to, looks like it's a science standard of some kind. So we're going to copy this one over. So notice I just selected the item. So now I'm actually looking at the item. And I click on this duplicate link in the link line up here above. I tell it which place it's going to go. Well, this is a science item, so I'd imagine we're going to put it in our middle school science growth assessments link here. Notice there's a middle school science growth assessments. That's for all the middle school science questions. And then there are separate ones for each grade in math. So there's a 6th grade math, there's a 7th grade math, there's an 8th grade math, and there's an algebra. Now, we have separate ones for math because the grade levels are very well defined in the standards. But in science, the grade levels for middle school science are not well articulated. So we're putting all of the growth assessments into one bank just so that they're all available for all grade levels when we go to actually adjust the curriculum to the next gen science standards, because some standards might move between the grade level they're currently being taught. So we're just going to keep them all in this bank. So we'll select that bank. So that's the move into. So we're moving it here. And then we are going to use a standard way of reporting or of naming these. And that is all of this stuff here is the standard. Okay, so this is just the nomenclature for the standard. And I just copied a random standard in here. I don't know what standard this one aligns to. But when you're copying items over, you're going to want to name them with the standard nomenclature. For science, it might be something like 7.ls3-2. And then what you're going to do is, after that, the second part of this, we're going to call it 3.2. Then there's going to be a dash. And then this number here, that's a number and then a point and then another number. These two numbers indicate this is the question number, and we want to keep track of mirrored items. And so to do that, we want to keep track of the question number that we're adding. And we're just going to start at 1 and go up till, hundreds, however many items we end up creating. So this case, we'll call it, since I don't want it to interfere with anything else, we'll call it 99. And then the .1, this is which part of the mirror it is. Is it the first one or the second one? Or if you wanted to create a third mirrored item or a fourth, you would call this, instead of 1, it'd be 2 or 3 or 4. And that way, any items I see that have this full line, like 7.ls3.2, slash 99, I know all of those items are mirrors. And then the dot one after it is just like it's mirror, it's dot one, it's dot two, it's dot three. And all of those are mirrors of one another. So this naming system will help us keep track of, okay, here's the standard, here's how many questions we have in that standard, or which question this is, and then what mirror, which number of the mirror. So then we'll click save, and then that item will be moved. Well, it'll still be in the NWA thing, but now we'll be able to find it in our science bank, which we'll go to. Here's our middle school growth assessments item bank. So if we open that, we'll be able to see that we had moved that item. That's 3.2, I think. We got to clear the question finder because I had searched before. Here we go. Boom, there it is. And so now that it's in here, I can actually change the layout, which I couldn't do in the other one. So now I can actually edit it. I can add another thing to it. I can change the responses, whatever I need to do. I can add new standards. I can change the attributes. All that stuff I can do in this box. And that was a video on how to copy an item bank item from one item bank, typically NWEA, into one of our item banks in Mastery Manager.